Sometimes the very thing people think will limit you becomes the reason you succeed. Today, we're decoding a legendary pianist who turned small hands into a superpower. She transformed Spanish music into a global phenomenon and built a career that lasted over 6 decades. This is the story of Alicia de Larrocha, the small giant who proved presence has nothing to do with size. Greetings, my fellow divas. I'm Nicole Dalé, and you're watching the Diva Decode. We're pulling back the velvet curtain on legends who redefined the music world, exploring how these icons shattered the status quo, and more importantly, how you can steal their playbook to level up your own life. And don't miss this week's Diva Decode challenge at the end of the video. Today, we are diving into the life of the incomparable Spanish pianist Alicia de Larrocha, the gold standard for Spanish classical music for the 20th century. Alicia was born in Barcelona in 1923 into a family steeped in Spanish classical music. Her mother and aunt were both students of the famous Enrique Granados, and by age 5, Alicia was studying under Granados' protege, Frank Marshall. She gave her first public performance at age 6 and made her orchestral debut at age 11. Can you imagine? To hear her extraordinary artistry at the keyboard, check out the playlist in the description. Although she had famously small hands for a pianist, Alicia developed an extraordinary technique and expressive style. She would go on to become one of the most celebrated interpreters of Spanish piano music in the world, bringing works like Albéniz's Iberia and Granados' Goyescas to international audiences. During her more than 6-decade career, she performed with major orchestras across Europe and the United States and won 4 Grammy Awards. Critics consistently praised her playing for its clarity, emotional depth, and dazzling control. So, how do we decode this small giant? Let's break down 3 key lessons from her career. Lesson 1. Limitations don't define your potential. Alicia didn't succeed in spite of her small hands. She succeeded because they demanded extraordinary discipline and imagination. Faced with physical limits, she became one of the most ingenious problem solvers at the piano. She developed a stretch and glide technique that made her sound twice as big as pianists with hands twice her size. She proved that excellence isn't about having the right tools. It's about being the most resourceful architect with the tools you do have. It's your invitation to innovate. Today, that same spirit of innovation is sparking a literal revolution in the piano world, the alternatively sized keyboard. Championed by my incredible teacher, Dr. Carol Leone, these keys are built for those of us who weren't born with Rachmaninoff-sized hands. When I first performed on one, it felt like a liberation. It turns out you don't have to adapt to an instrument that doesn't fit. You can choose an instrument that does. Want to see how? I've linked to Dr. Leone's video below so you can see this game changer in action. Lesson 2. Honor your roots. Alicia became world famous playing Mozart, Beethoven, and Chopin. She was a master of the standard repertoire. But where did she return over and over again? To her Spanish roots. Her interpretations of Albéniz, Granados, and De Falla are so definitively her that they are the benchmark for every other pianist. She deeply connected to her own heritage, the rhythms of Catalonia, the unique energy of Spanish melody. This wasn't just professional specialization, it was the lifeblood of her artistry. This music was her spiritual home. Alicia reminds us how critical it is to find your roots. It might be your actual heritage, a specific skill, a core value, or a personal passion. In a world that keeps demanding you be everything to everyone, Alicia invites us to dive into that one thing that is authentically you. Lesson 3. Longevity comes from discipline. Alicia wasn't known for dramatic publicity or celebrity theatrics. She was known for preparation, consistency, and dedication to her craft. She practiced relentlessly, performed thoughtfully, and maintained an active career well into her later years. Her life shows us that lasting impact comes from decades of steady commitment. a pioneer who invented her own way to master her craft, a dedicated musician who redefined charisma, an artist anchored in her identity. Alicia may have been the small giant, but the lessons she leaves behind are monumental. Her lifelong devotion to the piano remained unbroken until her death in 2009 at the age of 86, leaving a legacy that continues to resonate today. So here's your Diva Decode challenge for the week. Alicia stayed grounded in the music of her Spanish heritage. Your challenge is to reconnect with one core influence that defines you. It might be your culture, a musical style you grew up with, a childhood influence, or a guiding value. Take that inspiration and create something from it this week, something that reflects the foundation of who you are. I'm Nicole Dalé, and this has been the Diva Decode. If you enjoyed today's look at Spanish music's small giant, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. You can support the show through the Buy Me a Coffee link or join our inner circle for exclusive perks and the chance to vote on next month's Divas. Want to hear Alicia for yourself? The playlist is waiting in the description below. And remember, keep a little glamour in your life.